hard work is something that hard workers appreciate. It's not something that lazy people appreciate.
No.
You got recognition from people that knew about hard work for your hard work.
Yeah.
And the people that might have been your peers who didn't really understand hard work that well, they didn't see that wonderful quality about you. And it pisses you off.
Yeah. You can only understand hard work to the point of the hardest work you've ever done. So
good point.
To one person, what they think is hard work.
Yeah. Right.
To another, maybe that's scratching the surface.
Mm-hmm.
But to them, it's the hardest work they've ever done.
Right. And you got to give them that.
Yeah. So when you have that conversation of, with people about you need to work harder, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
When you break it down into that perspective.
It's a little easier to understand this in terms of eating to gain weight. And people will tell you how much they eat.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're basing on how much they've ever eaten.
Yes.
And then someone that knows how to eat more than that will say, you're only eating 4,000 calories. You weigh 225, and that's because you eat like a 225-pound man. You got to start eating like a 260-pound man if you want to weigh 260. And they don't know what that is. Their reference point, like hard work or pain even, somebody who has had a certain amount of pain, that's it. That's the highest pain they've ever had. It's not right for us to deride them necessarily for not having had the experience of knowing what it means to eat that much or knowing what it means to tolerate that much pain or work that hard. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the only mistake. We're right in that we understand something they don't because we went further in it. And it would only be wrong of us if we derided them for not having been there. When someone tells me how much they eat, and they weigh 185 pounds, and they tell me that they eat so much more than anybody else, and you wouldn't believe how much I eat. I go, I would. I really would believe you. I would believe you because I know how much you weigh. You've weighed this for 6 months. You're eating exactly enough to keep your weight at 185, not any less or it would go down, not any more, or it would go up. So I have a really good, clear picture of what you think a whole lot is, an enormous amount, an unbelievable amount. You wouldn't believe how much I eat. Mm-hmm. I eat so much. I know exactly what you eat. You eat 185 pounds worth of calories every day. I know what that is. I'm not uninitiated in that. Mm-hmm. And so the same thing with work, I think. When you have had an experience of working harder and you pursued that and you developed that in yourself, can I go a little further? Can I go? And that's what powerlifting's all about. One more pound. I got to try a little harder. I got to squeeze out another one. And you have that experience, then you know something that people who have not done that yet don't know yet. Mm-hmm. But they could learn it. But they won't learn it. They won't learn it if they don't believe in it. So if you're 185 pounds and you don't think you don't believe you can eat another bite, mm-hmm. You'll never know what it's like to be a 225-pound man or a 260-pound man or a 300-pound man. You're not going to know what that's like. There's one way to find out, though. You dip your foot in the water and you take a step and you take another step, and pretty soon you're in the deep end.
Yeah. Well, with that, it's what if they just start hanging around with a bunch of 245-pound people?
That helps. You take little kids and they're around a pool, and one of them doesn't know how to dive or cannonball, mm-hmm. and they see one of their 5-year-old buddies doing a cannonball. All of a sudden, they just do it. You can't get them to do it on their own, but when they see one of their peers doing it, or two of their peers, or all the other kids are jumping in the pool, then they jump right in. You don't have to ask them to do it.
Yeah.
So getting around people that are gaining weight and are eating like a 245-pound man and getting that experience and just seeing, well, I thought I was eating a lot, but I see him doing that. I can do that.
You should always strive to be better than your best. I mean, that's kind of the advice that we always put out there. The only person you really need to beat is yourself.
True.
Okay. And that's true until you go compete against people that kick your ass. Then all of a sudden you see a couple things can happen. You can either just realize I'm not that good and quit. I mean, that's not, it happens. It's an option.
Sure.
The other thing is, oh my God, I need to start pulling things together. I need to get better than this.
Yeah.
You know, the other one is they can do it. If they can do it, why can't I do it?
I read a lot of books about guys that went over and got their legs blown off and had really hard lives. And my buddy's like, well, man, you know why you're so depressed? It's because you read all these depressing books about war. And I go, no, you don't understand. When I read this guy, his plight, his life, and he comes back and he doesn't have legs and he still finds a way, I think to myself, well, my life isn't that hard. And this guy found a way to do it. Is this guy better than me? Is that what it is? Is this guy a better human being than me? Is he tougher than me? Is he smarter than me? Does he want to work? I don't think so. And I don't have it as bad as him. So I better buck up. Mm-hmm. I get a lot of motivation out of reading about other people's lives that are really bad. And they somehow cope. They don't always succeed wildly, but they cope. They handle it. And thank God they write these books. Because I can think about my life and go, nothing that bad ever happened to me. About 4 years ago, I read a book about a guy who was I think he was like the 4th or 5th guy, maybe 6th, to survive a quadruple amputation. No arms, no legs. Mm-hmm. And he came back and he lived. Mm-hmm. They built little prosthetics for him that he can do stuff. And he takes care of himself. And he goes and talks about what it's like to overcome getting your legs and arms torn off you. Mm-hmm. Right? And I look at that guy and I think, man, that dude, he might have something I don't, but I want what he has then. Mm-hmm. You know? And so it motivates me to use that as, if I don't have everything that he has, how much of it do I have? I might not be able to say, is he any better than me? He's not better than me. He might be. But even if he is, he's showing me something that under, the demonstration, the person that's 245, watch them eat, watch that guy work out, and I read those books and I see things clearly about myself. I see that my life isn't as hard as I'm making it out to be, maybe. Mm-hmm. There's people that have it worse than me. And you can always say that. Mm-hmm. So I don't mean to belittle that phrase, but when you look at somebody who's like you, similar to you, and they're doing well under a heavier burden, it kind of compels you to want to do well under your burden, regardless of how heavy it is.
If you don't look outside, yourself, because if somebody's only wrapped up and they're becoming better than themselves, then how limited are they actually? What limits are they putting on themselves because of that?
We have to ask ourselves, what do we want out of this? And if it's to lift more weight than the other guy, then we have to look at the other guy. Mm-hmm. If it were different, though, if it were, I'm doing this and I'm going to use this marker, lifting more weight, and it's going to tell me this, not how strong I am, it's going to tell me how much I've changed as a person. So if I can bench 400 pounds, I have to change myself into the kind of person that can bench 500 pounds if I want to bench 500 pounds. And if that's the goal, change, growth, development, mm-hmm. then I don't have to look at anybody else. But what I do have to do is I have to change from being a man that could only lift 400 to a man that can lift 500. And I'm going to have to teach myself some things about discipline and about eating and about hard work and about being resolute and consistent and, just all those lessons that you need to become the kind of person that will eventually lift 500 pounds.
But where are they going to learn those lessons from? The people that have already benched 500 pounds. So they're competitors because they've been down that road.
That's one good place. Yeah. That's absolutely one good place to learn it.
Yeah.
The path that I want to go is not a trail place.
Yeah. There's
been lots of people that have laid a trail. I can do what they did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's true. If we change what our end rubric is, mm-hmm. do I want to break records and be in that, or do I want to be a different person?
Yes.
And they're not mutually exclusive. You could do both.
Yes.
But one, you have to look outside and see where you stand in the world.
How do you know what more discipline is unless you've seen more discipline?
If I know where I am, I can know what's right in front of me.
Yes.
That I haven't seen yet. It's just right there. All I got to do is step into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't need to know. I don't need someone to tell me what's way down the road necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
So I think yes and no. Yes, if I want to look farther down, yeah, I got to get some information. But if I just want to compare myself to myself and take one more step down this road, I don't need anybody's help. I don't need any comparisons. I don't need any competitions. I just got to take that next step, no matter how dangerous or high or long it is. So I think it's possible. And this isn't a choice between the two. We can use a little bit of both when it's appropriate. I can use other people to motivate me and pull me and show me what's possible. And then I can focus on the next thing that I have to do. I say this a lot. I say, do today's work today. Do the next thing.
Mm-hmm.